Hi everyone and welcome to And Sew On. My name is Lisa and today I have a sewing day. Okay, so I've been so busy lately and I've been knitting so much that I haven't had a lot of time to sew, and today I have a sewing day. So my kids are at their musical theater class, my husband is playing his racket sport, and so I have a good portion of the day to myself. So I have two projects that I want to get going on and I thought I'd take you along. So number one, I'm going to be making my turtleneck, and number two, I'm going to be making the skirt. So you guys know that I'm working on a winter capsule and I have this beautiful fabric from the fabric sales that I absolutely love. And so I've been going back and forth a bit on which patterns to use, not which pieces, because I know what I want to make, but I've been kind of going back and forth a bit on the patterns. And I was going to make the Monroe turtleneck by Tessuti, and then a few of you told me it's got a couple of minor issues, and it is a free pattern, so I get it. But I thought, you know what, this is a really beautiful wool jersey. I don't want to risk it, and I don't really have anything on hand to muslin it with. So I am going with this. This is the Keep It Simple Babe t-shirt from Pattern Emporium, and you can see the turtleneck one there at the bottom. It's a little blown out, but so you guys know that I'm on the team for Pattern Emporium, and so I asked Kate if I could use this pattern for my capsule, and she sent it over to me. So I'm gonna link to it below if you guys wanna have a look. One thing I really like about it is it has many different versions. So here are the different versions that you can make with this. I really like the square neck one too. I'll probably do that sometime in the spring. But I think I'm gonna do the full fold over turtleneck. I think. Now all of a sudden I've just gone, maybe I should just do the single, but actually I like a fold over turtleneck. So I'm gonna do that. And I've got the fabric set out and I've got it printed and I've got it put together and cut. So now I'm going to go and start cutting that. The other thing I'm going to do is the skirt today. I'm going to do the black skirt. I was going to do a Berta Easy, but now I'm thinking I want something a little longer and a little more pencil skirtish. So I think I'm gonna go with the Elemental skirt from Sew House 7. So I'll have to print that off, but we'll see how far I get today. I just thought I'll get going and you guys can follow along with me. So here we go. Okay, so you guys can see here, I've got the fabric laid out. The way it was cut, it was sort of on a, I don't know if it's just because of the jersey, if it's on a bit of a diagonal, but you can see that it's like narrower at this end and then wider down there. So I've just folded it out to make sure that stripes are on top of stripes. That's the important thing. And someone asked me about it curling at the end. It does curl at the end. I mean, that's just the nature of the jersey. So when I go to cut it, I just make it as flat as I can and I put some pattern weights, and I maybe don't go quite to the end. And once it's sewn up, it doesn't happen anymore. Okay, so you can see here that I'm literally just pulling it down, just rolling it down as far as I can. I'll show you again over here if I can do it with one hand. So I just pull it down a little bit, pull it down, and then put this as close as I can. And then I add the pattern weight, just like I did here. And yes, you're not gonna be able to use all this little end, but I think that's fine. I'm going with the longer version. There's a longer version and a shorter version. I'm going with the longer one because with a turtleneck, I'm gonna wanna really be able to tuck it in. Okay, so I've realized that I would be wasting a lot of fabric to just fold it in to the center. So I've just folded over, especially since there's like this diagonal that's already built into the way it was cut. I've just folded it over enough to fit this piece. And then I'll just keep doing that. And then I should have some leftovers to make a hat or something like that. Okay, so just to show you that in this case, I've used pins because especially with stripes, I wanna make sure that everything stays really, really flat. I don't want to use pattern weights in this case. So I've just pinned it and I rolled it back and pinned it. And that way I can make sure that the stripes stay together. Oh, and see, they might even need adjustment already. Okay. With the rolled edge, I like to just go right off the edge and then just sort of peel it back. I know this is not great technique. But it's reality. There we go. And then I like to put the first piece over the second so that I can line up where the stripes are and cut them both the same, which makes it a lot easier to line up stripes when you're sewing. Okay, so I have the turtleneck cut out, and I think what I'm gonna do, because my kids are on their way home from their class and they're gonna want lunch, I'm going to print off now the skirt pattern. I'm gonna put that together and get that cut, and then I can run upstairs and start sewing. So I will see you upstairs in the studio. Okay, so it is now about 5 o'clock and my kids have gone to see Harry Potter in Spanish at the movie theater in town with their friends. So that's really good. I always like it when they go to see movies in Spanish because it slowly, I hope, reinforces the language. But it's already getting a little dark and I don't know if you can tell, it's quite overcast. So I've had to put on my ring light, which I don't use very often. So if the lighting's not so great, that's why. Okay, I've got everything cut. And these should zip up pretty quickly. They're both fairly simple garments. The elemental skirt only has 4 pieces if you count both sides of the facing. And I actually think that the turtleneck, even though the stripes will be a little bit tricky, I think it's going to be a little easier in that you don't have to do a neckband because you're doing the turtleneck, right? So I've got my iPad here with my instructions. And I'm gonna see how fast I can zip these up. So let's see, it's 5:07. So one thing about stripes and shoulder seams is that it's only possible for them to be matched so far because of the shape of the two pattern pieces. You can't really, that I'm aware of, match stripes all the way along because of the shape. And one of the best things that I was ever told was match 1 or 2 of the stripes and that will give you enough of the effect that you're looking for. So for instance, if we look here, I've got 2 or 3 here that are pretty much matched. And then on this side hopefully is the back. A couple down here, So is that the back? Let's see. Right, so this is the front. Yeah, this is the front and I've got several ones matched across there. Sorry, I'm looking into the wrong camera. So that's good enough for me. I'm gonna go on to the other one. So let me show you where I am. Oh, I was gonna mention that if you're ever looking for a new sewing machine and you're kind of looking to upgrade from something very, very basic, maybe to your first electronic machine, one of my very favorite features to look for is the automatic needle down position, where you have a button that anytime you stop, your presser foot will always stop down. And your needle will always be in the work. And that, especially with knits, I find, is really important because you don't want things to slip around and yet you have to be constantly kind of smoothing and adjusting. And so an automatic needle down position, I think, is really important. Okay, so here we are. This is the front. And we have 1, so you can see we've got a couple matching along there, and 2, we've got a couple matching along there. And that's enough for the eye to see it as one continuous thing. Okay, this fabric is lovely, by the way, and I have enough left over that I think I'm gonna do a couple of beanies, or I might even be able to combine this one with the red, with my leftovers of the red, and maybe even get like a scrappy top out of it. I don't know yet. Anyway, that's gonna be me for today. I was hoping to upload tonight, but clearly that's not gonna happen. But tomorrow I have a similar day where my husband's gone all morning and the kids will just be chilling out. So I'm going to come up here and sew in the morning, and then I'll be able to get this uploaded later in the day. So I'm gonna head downstairs and start dinner and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Happy Sunday morning. It is Sunday morning. This is morning face. This is morning coffee. This is Sunday morning pastry. The light got really low last night because this is it is an enclosed porch. I only have one light out here and it's like a outdoor sconce. So once it gets quite dark, I can't really work up here. And so in the summer I have more time, but in the winter, not so much. Anyway, it's a beautiful morning. I'll put in some video, or if I haven't already, of our little walk. Actually, we had a long walk this morning. We walked about close to 5K, something like that. Anyway, it was very nice. And now I am going to finish off this top before I go to choir practice. I have choir practice. We're doing 2 performances this year at one at the local church, I don't think it's cathedral, but it's like the big main church in town, the one that you see in all my videos, and one at an outdoor concert space in town. So I have rehearsal, so I'm gonna finish this top, and then I'm gonna go to rehearsal, and then I will come home and finish the skirt, and then I will put up this video. So a couple things about this. Now I have to do the side seams. So I'm going from here to here. Always when I have a knit top that I'm doing the side seams in this way where it's all in one, I always do it in 2 parts, going from the armpit down and from the armpit out. I find if I try to go from one end to the other, even though it would be faster, it becomes misaligned at some point just because of the way things go. Unless I were to use a walking foot, perhaps, which I don't have for this machine, at some point it becomes misaligned. Now, doubly with stripes. So I think in this case, because the stretch stitch is such a pain to rip out, like it's just a disaster to rip out. But this is going to be a fairly close fitting turtleneck, and so I'm going to have to stretch a lot to get in and out of it. I want to make sure that I use the stretch stitch instead of just a zigzag stitch, which is often what I use for my knits. I'm going to baste this, not hand baste, I'm going to machine baste it so that I can hopefully get the stripes on point. And then once I know they're on point, then I'll go back over it with a stretch stitch. I think that's probably the best way to go. And then, or I might even use I'm gonna use the stretch stitch. And then all I have to do is the turtleneck and then the hems, and that's it. And I might try it on before I do the cuff hems, because I sometimes find that tops like this are too short for me in the arms. I like a really nice long arm, and so I might end up doing a cuff, but we'll see. That's not the plan. Anyway, I'm gonna have my coffee first. And then I'll get sewing. Okay, so I've done the basting and I've checked that it's good enough. And now I've switched to my lightning bolt stitch. And I'm going to just literally go right over the same stitch line so that I don't have to repeat out right at the 1/4 inch. Okay, so that's one side. You can see the seam down the center there. Pretty good. Couple little places where it's off. I'm just not gonna worry about it. I think you guys probably know by now that I believe in taking your time and doing good quality work, but I am not a perfectionist. I don't think that perfectionism
I don't think perfectionism makes you happy, and I also don't think that it leads to productivity. So yes, it's important to take your time and do good work, but it's not, I don't think it's personally good to torture yourself for something to be absolutely perfect. And you know what's interesting about having this channel is every once in a while I'll go back and watch an older one, and I'll look at a project that I finished and I'll say something about it that's not perfect, that, you know, that I, you know, might go back and change or whatever. And half the time I've completely forgotten what it was that, you know, I thought needed to be changed or I thought wasn't good enough. And I've worn it a ton and I haven't even noticed. So that's important to keep in mind as well. Okay, second side. I put in one of the sleeves backwards. This is why I shouldn't work in the dark. I've just realized that this, this one is backwards. It's wrong side. And had I not just given you a whole thing about perfectionism, the thing that really sucks, and I also just told you this, is that the stretch stitch is such a pain to remove. Oh man. I don't know. It's really subtle, but no, I've got to fix it. That's not perfectionism, that's just a plain old mistake. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but can you see that there's a very faint line here on the above and below? That's the wrong side. And you know what? When I was putting it together, the notches didn't match. And I thought that I just made a mistake. Because I couldn't even see the difference. Okay, well there's another vote for not working in the dark anymore. Yeah, okay, well I'm gonna fix this, which means I may not actually get it done before choir. Well, I don't know, we'll see. This is the real face of frustration at sewing. Now I've got to find my seam ripper. All right, she's free. Again, I'm going to try and show you the difference between the right side and the wrong side, just so you can see how subtle that is. So this is the wrong side here, and this is the right side at the bottom. Anyway, that was fun. That was a little bit of a morning meditation. So now I'm gonna rearrange, and I decided not to undo the whole side seam because this side seam is decently done, and so I'd rather not have to redo it. So I'm not gonna say this is gonna be a set-in sleeve, but it's gonna be a little more set-in because I'm gonna have to kind of work it a little bit in the round. Fixed it, and the second time I did not baste. I was like, let's see here, underneath is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think down the side of the body matters a lot more than underneath the arm. Down the side of the body you're gonna see, underneath the arm you're not. Anyway, so here we are. I really love the drape of this wool jersey. I'm really looking forward to getting to wear it. I would have loved to have been able to wear it to choir practice, but that was not to be. That was the universe telling me to stand by my word. So here I go. I'm gonna go get ready I have to be at practice in 12 minutes. So I'm gonna run. Luckily it's really close, so maybe I'll take you on the walk there, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna finish this. Okay, back from choir practice. Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, I am now going to attach the turtleneck to the turtleneck. So I have sewed it together, which actually turned out pretty well considering I literally just did not baste it or anything like that. This is a doubled one. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do the double or the single, but I think I like the double. So I have sewn it together, folded it in half, and now I'm gonna attach it with right sides to the turtleneck. So I need to turn this turtleneck inside out and then put the turtleneck right side in the middle, make sure that I'm attaching right sides together so that I don't have another situation where I'm trying to unpick the lightning stitch. And okay, so let me do that. Kind of fussing a bit with the neck, but overall, yeah, I really like the fit. I like the size. I made the size 4. I like the length. This is the longer length. The shorter one is here. I'm definitely going to keep this pattern on hand. And what I might do is just add like 2 inches to the length of the arms so that I don't have to worry about the possibility of adding a cuff in the future. All right, let's see how fast I can whip up the skirt. Okay, I've had some tea, I've had my try on, and now I'm going to use my twin needle to do the hem and the cuffs. And you guys have seen me use this before. I've got many tips, but honestly the best one that was the simplest is to lower your tension to give a little more space and go really slowly. That's kind of the biggest difference that I found, was just lowering the tension, going really slowly. You know, you can interface it, there are other things you can do, but I didn't find that really, that made a big of enough difference to take the time to do it. And especially with something so stretchy like this, if I don't have jersey interfacing, which I generally don't, this alone generally does it. So I'm going to grab my second bobbin and give this a shot. Here we go. Just taking the regular thread from the regular spool and I'm putting it into the hole on the right. I'm working around a camera here, so that might take me longer. Here we go. Pulling it through to the back. And then I have my little spool here that I've just used a bobbin thread on, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take it through the same path. And now this one is going through the left side. Okay, and I'm pulling it through here. So now I've got both tails at the back, and I give myself a good tail, and then pull through. Get that there. And I'm honestly just turning it under by hand. I've got the tails at the back here, and I'm just gonna go really slow. Well, that's the end of that plan. I did get through the hem, so I'm just zigzagging the cuffs, and then I'll be onto the skirt. Okay, so I have done the side seams on this very simple skirt. It's a 1-inch seam allowance. I started to worry that maybe it would be a little tight, and so I did 1 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other. And I've given it a quick try on, and I think that was a good decision. I probably would have been fine with that extra 1/2 centimeter, but I'd kind of like a little more space. So now I'm going to do the facing for the waist and grab some elastic. Okay, and we're done. So I didn't get to show you as much of making the skirt because my neighbors were having a luncheon right outside that window, and so I couldn't really do it without you guys hearing them. So let me go through the skirt with you. Yes, I now have makeup and I got my hair done. Well, I brushed it. I went outside and I took some photos of everything together. I'll put those in a second. This is the skirt. Highly recommend this little free skirt. All you have to do is sign up for her newsletter at Sew House 7,
and you get this little skirt. And I don't know if you can see the texture on this. It's got like a twill texture to it, this wool blend. It's really comfortable, and I think it's gonna be perfect for winter to just either wear on its own with high boots, which I don't have yet. I'm thrifting some high boots, but I haven't quite got them yet. Or as well over leggings or over, you know, tights would be really cozy. But I think here I could get away with just high boots and this because of the length of it. So you basically have a facing, and then you attach the facing inside out like this. You add the elastic to the top, zigzag it along the top, and then fold in, so black is so hard to show, fold in the bottom of the facing, secure it, and then turn it in like this. So you turn it in and you secure it, and it's all good. And then you just turn up the hem an inch and sew it down, and that's it. It's really quick. I could see making these in a couple colors. I'd love one in like a maroon or in like a dark teal with my black turtleneck. Ooh, love it. So again, this is the fabric from the fabric sales. I will link it below. The turtleneck is really nice. I like it. I'm gonna live with these sleeves a little 3/4 inch, and I'm gonna make a note on the pattern that I need my husband's listening to his football downstairs. I think someone just scored. I need to add like 7 centimeters, maybe 6, to really get to where I want to be in terms of length for long sleeve. But I'm gonna live with them for now. Because it's a turtleneck, it's probably really warm. Therefore, maybe I'm gonna want to kind of be pulling them up, and I do seem to be doing that. So if not, I have lots left over, and I can easily add a cuff, and that is in the pattern. So also that pattern I'm gonna put below for the Pattern Emporium, really great pattern. So now I'll put in the pictures that Lily took for me just around the corner. And yeah, so these are the second and third parts of my capsule. And clearly, like, I want to style everything together and sort of mix and match kind of thing. And I think these look really cute together. I almost put a belt with it, but really these pictures are more just to show you what the two pieces look like, let's be honest. So now what I have left is the coat and the dress and the trousers. So I've basically done all the easy stuff up front, and now I've got the challenging stuff. And so I'll probably be taking those step by step and show you guys how I get those done. But for the moment, I needed some quick wins. I was in a mood for a quick win. These two were both quick wins, and I hope you enjoyed watching the process. Okay, that is all for me today. I hope that wherever you are, the sun is shining and you are sewing or knitting or whatever makes your crafty heart happy. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.